Hey guys, welcome to Movies with Ari. I'm Ari and I'm so excited to review Halo Nightfall. So let's get into it. With Halo Nightfall, I think I'm going to be a little more descriptive than I was in Forward into Dawn, and the reason why is because this one talks about some serious groups of people that I think you need a little more understanding. So there's going to be a little more expanding on that and the Halo universe and lore. I'm a huge fan of Halo. I said that in Forward Unto Dawn, and I know a lot about the lore, and I mean, I've played this game for years. This is something that's really special to my heart. What's really unique about Nightfall is it's an origin story about Locke, Agent Locke, who was a secondary character and playable character in Halo 5, Guardians. Nightfall is intended to connect the stories of Halo 4 and Guardians. This is an in-between story. It's about an Oni unit under Locke's command that is deployed on the distant human outer colony of Sarada to investigate terrorist activity. For those of y'all that don't know what Oni is an Office of Naval Intelligence. And it's the intelligence service of the UNSC Navy. So this is really important in who Locke is, because Locke is part of Oni. And in Forward Unto Dawn, they talk about Onis as well. So if y'all do see that clip, I didn't explain what Oni was because I didn't talk about it because it wasn't so important to what I was talking about. But if you do see that clip, I want y'all to know that they do talk about it. Or if y'all do go see that movie, they do talk about it, and that's what Oni is. So this is supposed to be a time of peace between the Human and Covenant war. And Locke sees an elite go into a crowded mall, and he follows him. And Locke eventually confronts the Sangheili and tries to get him to surrender. The elite ultimately refuses and releases a device, which is a bomb, that releases an energy pulse that leads people to having an affection. Due to this happening, Locke and his team end up going to Sarada to track down the source of an element. When they arrive on Sarada, though, not all is as it seems, and that's the concerning part for them. And they only have a select time to do this because it's right next to a red giant. So it's a time-sensitive mission, and they find these smugglers, but they end up getting attacked by a swarm, and this swarm can create anything and move together as a unit. So this is where it gets really weird. But if you're a fan of the Halo franchise, you recognize the swarm as hunter worms. That's what they are. The swarm is, or if you want to call it from lore, they're called a Liglo. And the Liglo are what make up the actual hunter worms to make an actual hunter. It's them working as a unit. They can mimic and make anything, but they don't have the same movements as a human or things like that. So Locke and team find they are attracted, that these hunter worms are attracted to devices of active technology and movements. So they have to remove all of their armor and shut off any devices that they have. And that includes the oxygen packs. So the only thing they take with them are the oxygen packs, which they shut off unless they actually need to use them because the air is thin. It doesn't have the same type of oxygen that you can breathe on Earth. So they have to take oxygen with them so they can actually breathe. It's a limited amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. So the group of 9 of them are now headed to this 2-seated tug to get off the planet. With 2 seats and 9 people, that starts to show a lot of different characteristics in the people that are there. I think the neat thing about this movie is, yes, we learn about Locke and the hunter worms, because I think that's really cool. You get to see a little origin story of Locke, and you get to see kind of what the hunter worms are to the actual hunter in Halo franchise. But I think the really neat thing is, if you saw my Arrival review, I talked about human nature at some point. And this movie shows what humans choose to do in time of desperation. And I think that's really unique, knowing who you're truly with, or who humans are truly in the worst situations. And I think one of the things I thought of is, would you kill your friends or your team or your family so you could survive? If it meant that you got off the planet, would you sacrifice the best of yourself and be selfish and ultimately save your own life versus saving another? And this is what this movie handles. It handles seeing people's true nature come to the surface. So people that have worked together all their lives, like they have in this movie, or this team that's known each other for X amount of time, now are being torn apart by greed and selfishness because they want to be the survivors. They want to be the ones to make it to the tug to get off the planet. And so some people start killing each other off and being like, oh, he fell. Well, he didn't fail. You pushed him off the mountain. Like, it shows what human nature will do in times of desperation. I think that's a really important concept to cover. And I think one thing I love about Locke is Locke doesn't compromise himself in times of desperation. He's very level-headed. And for him, he says, if we draw straws and I get the short end, I stay here. And he's okay with that. He's come to terms with it. He knows, hey, I may not make it off this planet, but at least I'm going to try to get my team off of it. Like, that's his first concern. And I love that about Locke, because he doesn't compromise his morals or the best of himself to be selfish and greedy. So he's the one that does it, or tries to hurt someone in the process. Now, I would probably rate this movie about the same. I actually probably would rate it a little less. I think I gave the last one a 3.75. I think I would give this one probably a 3.5. It's, again, it's not bad. It's good, and I think it's very good if you're very much into the Halo lore world and what you want to know. Like, if you really love the video games and you love the movies and you like the lore and you like the books, I think this is a great, great movie to watch. And especially if you want to know more about Agent Locke, I think this is really special. The reason why I give it a 3.5 is, apart from it being a very good movie, it's a mini-series made into a movie. The lighting's well done, the cinematography is well done, I think the cast was perfect. But my biggest gripe is, again, the graphics. And actually, the graphics are worse in this one than it was in Forward Unto Dawn. Forward Unto Dawn had much higher graphics, but God, y'all, their graphics are so rough. There's a scene that when he's trying to detonate the device, you can the background, y'all. The background is so bad. Like, you can tell it's a green screen. You can see it. You know it is. Because it looks fake. They didn't make it look realistic. And it's the same shot, and it still looks bad from every angle. You can't convince me it looks great. And I think that's my biggest gripe is a lot of the backdrops in this movie looked fake. I kind of wish they had made the hunter worm. Like, the hunter worms were really cool, but again, some things just could have been tweaked, I think. But the backgrounds are so bad, and it's bad in the sense of how fake it looks. And for me, I can overlook it, but as a filmmaker, I can't. Like, it really does bother me. I think that's why I'm giving it a little less than what I had given Forward Unto Dawn. Because at least in Forward Unto Dawn, the backdrops and all that, it looked real. If they were filming in front of a green screen, like, it looked real enough. I feel like this one just doesn't. There's no realistic backdrop in this scene at all. Like, it's so fake. And that, I think part of that is budget. If you don't have a high enough budget, of course you're not gonna be able to put enough effort into graphics, which is fine. And that's no fault of their own. Again, it was a small mini-series or film made to be fan-based, again, like Forward Unto Dawn, so it wasn't like this big budget, or it didn't go to theaters or thing like that. It was a small project and really something for the fans to get a hang on and just really enjoy, I think. And if you're a fan, again, like me, love this movie. I could watch Nightfall 100 times. I love it. Same with Forward Unto Dawn. But if you're not an avid gamer and you're not into Halo or you're not into the lore, then I feel that this will not be an interest to you. And I think that's ultimately what they are, just fan-made films that were created to be part of actual lore. So I think that's what's really neat about them, but they are fan-based, I think. And I know that they tried their best with the graphics, like, I know that. But besides the graphics, I think the storyline is really good if you're really interested in knowing more about Agent Locke and who he was and what kind of person he was. I think this is a great movie for that. If you want to learn more about the hunter worms, I think this is another great understanding of what those creatures are that create the hunter. And if you're just really looking for a movie that's fun and part of a fan base and part of lore, I think this is a really fun movie to just watch. As an analyzed movie, I think if you're a filmmaker or things like that, it might be a little more jarring to you, or if you're not part of the fandom, I don't think it will be as enjoyable. But if you're part of the fandom and you really enjoy it, I think this is the movie for you. I think you would really like it. So what do you guys think about this movie? Did you like it more than me? Did you like it less than me? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any other movies or TV shows or any game to movies, anything that y'all would like me to be reviewing for you guys, I'm always up to watch new things, and especially play new games or things like that. So please comment down below if y'all are interested in seeing any of that content. And as always, see you on the next one, guys.